What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes, and this is going to be my first impression and the stat speculation of the new Hatari special banner that we have got. And this banner is kind of similar to the Pelagian banner with its desert theme. So the first unit that we have is going to be Hatari Nailah, and she is a red infantry beast. So there are not too many red infantry beasts other than Keaton and also Kai'Sa, which we recently got. But certainly none of them are going to be as fast as Nailah. So she has got Royal Hatari Fang, and even though its description might seem extremely long, I'm just going to simplify it here. So she has got the Neotrace skill built into this weapon only when she's transformed. So this is not the fixed Canto, this is Canto and remaining movement +1. And she has -1 special cooldown in her weapon. She can get +5 to all of her stats, and then she's got null follow-up built into her weapon. And then she's got the standard beast transformation effect, which can provide her with +2 attack and +7 true damage whenever she triggers her special. And then she also has the null special in her weapon. So null special pretty much includes the null guard as well as stopping charges of special acceleration skills like special fighter, heavy blade and stuff like that when she's going to be facing the opponents. So the description is as always really long, but the effects are definitely pretty simple. So this allows Nailah to be a really good melee unit because she can heal up the HP by using Sturdy Surge and by spamming the specials. Null Guard is extremely useful here, and she can also function with Gale Force because of the -1 special cooldown and the fact that she has got Null Guard. So transformation is extremely important for Nailah so that she can get the Canto and also get the Null Guard. And we have seen this kind of weapon refined on blue Nailah, but of course red Nailah is going to be much better offensively because of being a modern unit. And she also has null follow-up in her weapon, which blue Nailah does not have. So by having null follow-up, you can free up her slot B skill, but unfortunately beast units do not have access to the damage reduction skills, so she would want to run maybe something like Special Spiral or a Loud skill that she already comes with. A Loud skill is pretty much her best option because she does have null follow-up already in her weapon. And then she's got Luna and Sturdy Surge. So this is second in the line of family of these Surge skills. We have seen Surge Sparrow before on Brave Erica, and Sturdy Surge pretty much gives you +7 attack and +10 defense, and also healing you up depending on the max special count that you have on your unit. Now keep in mind that the special cooldown count is considered after the effects of her weapon. So here, even though Nailah has a 3-turn special, it becomes a 2-turn special because of her weapon. So it is going to be depending on that for the healing. So Sturdy Surge can be a pretty nice skill for a lot of bulky player phase units so that they can get even more defense and maybe trigger something like Bonfire. So for example, normal Edelgard does have that kind of weapon, has the auto follow up and high defense, so she could use that to trigger bonfires that do a lot of damage. But many times most of the offensive units are going to be preferring to have Surge Sparrow so that they can get the extra speed and naturally double. And even on Nailah, she would prefer to have that because she is a fast unit, and Sturdy Surge is pretty much here to just have this on a banner, I guess. And then she's got lull speed defense, and then finally she's got the exclusive skill Glare, which has got the AoE gravity, and this is extremely good now with safety fence and Aether Raids offense. So if you use her as an initiator or even as a Gale Force unit, the gravity effect that you can do on the units can be extremely good for hit and run plays with safety fence, and it can also be really annoying in summoner duels. So this kind of Nailah can be seen in summoner duels in the unrestricted metagame, and then the blue Nailah is of course really good in the Book 3 and prior metagame. So overall, red Nailah ends up being a really solid unit because of her preferred weapon, and she's going to be having really nice stat spread. I mean, she's going to be fast and offensive unlike the other red infantry beast units, so I do expect her to have around 43 speed and a bit more attack. Nailah didn't really have a lot of attack in her previous alts, like the Brattle alt and the original version. So the original version did have a refine that could give her even more offenses, but this kind of Nailah is going to be having higher base attack, I feel like. And of course she's supposed to have higher defense because she does have the Sturdy Surge. So that is the stat spread of Nailah, and then we move on to the next unit on the banner, which is going to be Hatari Karla. I'm not really too sure what to call these units. I mean, we cannot really call them Pelagian. I'm going with Hatari because of their outfits. So she's a Lance Infantry unit, and she's gonna be the second Gen 6 Lance Infantry unit after Ninja Male Korin, which is kind of funny because both of them come with Special Spiral. So Karla here has got Dry Blade Lance, which gives her -1 special cooldown, and at start of turn 1, she can get -2 special cooldown on herself. So this means that you can have Draconic Aura pre-charged on her base kit, which is extremely good for setting up Special Spiral. And you can also make use of Gale Force extremely well because this kind of effect is same as its Curtains Plus, which is an inheritable lance, which is extremely good for a lot of Gale Force units. And here she just has that as an effect in her preferred weapon. This weapon has got even more things to it, so it's much better than its Curtains, of course. So if she's above 25% HP, she can get +6 attack and speed during the combat, and then she can deal true damage based on the total special cooldown count multiplied by 10 plus 20. So here Draconic Aura is going to be a 2-turn special with her weapon, so she can basically get the true damage based on 40% of her speed when her special triggers. So this kind of true damage is extremely good for the damage output, but it's going to be a bit sad if you run her with Gale Force and then she's not able to get this true damage, because this kind of true damage that she's going to be getting from her specials is only going to be happening on the damaging specials and not after the combat specials like Gale Force. So this weapon is honestly really good. It's not like over-tuned or anything like that, but it's still really solid. And you can easily stack this up with Time Pulse, Infantry Pulse, and a lot of the other skills like Ostia Pulse too, to have her with even higher cooldown specials. Like you could literally have a pre-charged Aether on Karla extremely easily if she just runs Time Pulse and Quicken Pulse, so that could be strong, and she could always get the Infantry Pulse support. And she's got Special Spiral, which goes really well with this kind of weapon that wants to spam the specials to get the true damage, and also wants to make use of the -2 special cooldown that she gets at start of a map. And then she's got Odd Tempest. I know Time Pulse would have been really good, but I guess Odd Tempest can also help you get the extra movement. So Karla looks like a really solid lance unit, even though she's not going to be anything to gain breaking or anything like that. She's just really solid, and I always love seeing these kinds of units. So I'm just amazed at how much love Karla gets in FEH, because in Blazing Sword she definitely does not get too much. So I expect her to have this kind of stat spread, just a standard Karla stat spread having high speed, high attack, which is kind of expected out of most of the units nowadays. Pretty much what she has in her regular version, but having the Gen 6 stats. And the next unit that we have is the 4-star focus unit of this banner, and it is going to be Xane again. So similar to Inigo and Dorothea, Xane gets another alt before he gets a regular version, and this time Xane is a staff unit. So he's a staff infantry unit, and both of his versions have been 4-star focuses, and they are both colorless. So as a staff unit, he brings the Serpentine Staff Plus to the table, which is definitely a really unique staff because it has got Fatal Smoke built into it and also has splash damage of 7. So this kind of staff is really good for Aether Raids defense or for just stopping the healing, but I don't really think it's going to be better overall, like universally, compared to something like Palm Staff or Observant Staff, which can provide you with a lot more stats and stuff. Also, it's really important to keep in mind that even if Xane dies, and if he attacked, he's still going to be inflicting the Fatal Smoke effect. So with the Fatal Smoke Slotsy skill, you need to survive the combat in order to apply the Deep Wounds effect. But with Muspel and this staff, even if they just attack and they die, they could still inflict the Deep Wounds effect. So that is something you have to keep in mind. Even if you have a Null Counter Disrupt unit, if you just get attacked by Xane, you're going to be affected by the Deep Wounds effect, which is going to be extremely annoying if you're running some kind of healing special, or something like Mystic Boost, or if your weapon or skill has the healing built in. So really good staff, I'm a big fan of this, and the fact that it's available on a 4-star focus unit does make it a lot easier to get. So of course going to be following this off to my Mercedes, which is to be expected, and he has got Defense Res Solo and Dazzling Staff, and then he's shown in combat against a 3-star level 1 Blue Mage. So he doesn't have Wrathful Staff, so that's why they're doing this. So I tried my best to speculate his stats. I don't think he's going to be having very high attack. Personally, yeah, I don't think that's going to be happening. He's probably going to be having higher speed, and that's pretty much it. I don't think his bulk is going to be too high either. He does happen to have the highest HP out of any kind of healer in the entire game, which does make him a bit more unique, so you can always run more supportive skills like Sudden Panic or the Pulse Ties, or just running Panic Ploy on a budget. So yeah, Xane does have most HP. The previous highest HP staff units were Reese and also Eremia, but yeah, Xane is the new top unit in that regard. And the next unit that we have is going to be the star of this banner, and that is going to be Hatari Azura, or Harmonic Azura, and she is a green cavalry dancer. So we did see a cavalry dancer before in Duo Sigurd. Unfortunately for Duo Sigurd, Azura completely dunks on them because she's got a better supportive weapon and also has a better assist in Grey Waves instead of just having the vanilla dance, and also has a much better harmonic skill compared to Duo Sigurd's reposition pretty much. So she's got Dancing Flames, and this gives her +3 attack, and if she sings or dances, she can provide +6 spectrum buffs to the adjacent allies for 1 turn, and she can also get +6 attack and speed during the combat. So this weapon is, pretty tame, but still it's really good for support. Just providing these spectrum buffs to allies who are going to be adjacent to her is really good. So instead of giving the buffs to the target who's getting refreshed, this provides it to the allies who are adjacent. So that is different from the prayer wheel that Legendary Azura has got. And Grey Waves is of course same as before, and it can just provide you the refresh and also 1 extra space movement if you're infantry or flying unit. The best thing about Azura is her consistent 3 movement as a cavalry dancer. Having used Duo Sigurd a lot, that is always really amazing for different game modes like the in-game content, summoner duels, and Aether Raids defense. But Azura came after the peak of turn 1 Aether Raids defense teams, where having a cavalry dancer was absolutely insane in Duo Sigurd because of the turn 1 setup that he could do. So that is not as reliable anymore because of the safety fence and the fact that people can just wait for a turn and set up. So she's coming after the peak of a cavalry dancer in my opinion, but still she's gonna be really insanely good in summoner duels. But many times I feel like having a flying dancer can really help you because the trenches can be super annoying in many of the maps of summoner duels, and a lot of the summoner duel maps can be unfriendly to the cavalry units. So that's why having a flying dancer with aerobatics can be really helpful, or maybe guidance or ground orders. So it's just the difference of using her in different situations. So I wouldn't really say that she is a much better unit than Legendary Azura, because Legendary Azura is due for a remix probably in like March, I believe. So when that happens, she is going to be having a remix to her weapon as well as her assist skill. So that could change up Legendary Azura and make her better. But still, this kind of cavalry Azura is extremely good because of Grey Waves and her own mobility. But I wouldn't really say that she's like a game-breaking dancer or anything like that, because we've seen these kinds of things before. Like Legendary Sigurd with a special can give extra movement to even the cavalry units, which Grey Waves does not do. So we have seen even more busted stuff, and we have been dealing with Legendary Azura for years now. So it's not like she's going to be doing anything that is going to be completely changing things in my opinion, but it's just that she's not a legendary unit, so she can be blessed up and can be used in Arena and Aether Raids. But of course she's going to be having a lot of applications in Aether Raids defense, and she's going to be super solid in summoner duels. And then she's got Fury 4, Speed Resistance Fort Race, and Cross Spur Resistance. These cross skills are new line of skills, but she would definitely like to have some other supportive skill maybe in her slot C. And cross spur attack is definitely much better with this kind of dancer, because you generally are going to be running offensive units. So that is Azura, and her stats, we do know that from the trailer, and they're kind of irrelevant for a dancer. But then again, like, Azura has got insanely good offensive stat spread. The thing about having this kind of high attack stat is that if you run her in Aether Raids defense or whenever AI is controlling her, then there are a lot of chances of her getting baited out, because if a dancer does 5 or more damage, they are going to be attacking instead of dancing. So that's where a lot of these ranged dancers can be a big annoying factor if you're trying to make them dance up your allies and they just end up attacking the opponent and then they just die. So that is something you have to keep in mind, and you can use that to your advantage for baiting her out in Arena and Aether Raids defense. So yeah, that is one of the things that a ranged dancer has to deal with, especially a cavalry dancer who has got even more range. And then she's got the Harmonized skill, which can basically work similar to Plagian Dorithia's skill, where she can refresh the ally with the highest HP who's from Path of Radiance or Fates, and this can be extremely good with Ninja Korin. So Ninja Korin is extremely good as a hit and run unit, as an offensive unit, and if you run Azura with her, then not only you can match the movement of a cavalry unit and dance her up, but you can use Harmonic skill again to dance up Ninja Korin, and then Ninja Korin herself has her dual skill. So the synergy between Korin and Azura is definitely really good. So I can see her being a really top contender of a Hero Rises event, which is going to be happening probably next month, because Azura has really good base kit and she's also really popular as a character. So you can always just wait for that and keep that in mind, that this banner is not the only time you're going to be having a chance of summoning her. She might even be in top 8 of a Hero Rises event, or even win it, depending on the other contenders. So yeah, that is the banner, and that is Hatari Azura. Definitely a really nice theme. I honestly really love this kind of theme, and I'm glad they have continued that on after the Plagian banner last year. And we do see a free-to-play unit here in Deen. So Hatari Deen is going to be a Dagger Cavalier, and he's going to be a Tempest Traveler Ward. Deen is still a really cool character, even though most people do pick Sonia over him. And it's not just the fact that Sonia is Sonia, but also the fact that Sonia does have a relation with, one of the main villains in Shadows of Valentia. But yeah, I'm really happy that Deen is finally in FEH in some form. And as a Dagger Cavalier, I feel like he's just going to be offensive in nature. So I pretty much expect him to have good attack and speed. And it's going to be interesting to see what kind of inheritable dagger he brings to the table. I think if Xane's staff is anything to go by, he could maybe get a Fatal Smoke dagger, which would be really, really good for support and debuffing. But he could also get some other effect in his dagger. Now, a couple of things that you have to keep in mind is that the 5th anniversary of FEH is going to be coming up next month on 2nd. And that will probably include some kind of Hero Fest banner. So that could be really incentivizing to many people because of its higher rates and depending on what units might be there. And there's also a chance of mythic remixes. So because of the reruns that they have shared with us after the remix banner of Lucina and Erica, we can kind of speculate that in February we might get mythic remix for units like Air or Naga or both of them. So if that's something you care about, you could also look forward to that. And then a Hero Rises event is of course going to be there, where I feel like Azura is going to be a top contender, along with other green units like Ninja Korin, Newer Dagger, and stuff like that. So a lot of green units are going to be present in a Hero Rises event in the top ranks, I feel like. So the color sharing could be a thing in a Hero Rises banner. So depending on if you like those units a lot as well, you could probably wait and then see if you want to summon for Azura or not, because I definitely have high hopes for her in a Hero Rises event. So that is just something I wanted to give a heads up on if you're trying to summon on this banner. Overall, I feel like this banner is good, but it's not like a must summon on. Azura is probably the most meta influential unit, but we have seen, a Cavalry Dancer before into a Sigurd, and like I said, it just peaked up during that time in Aether Raids where turn 1 teams were a thing. But still, Azura is really solid, and the other units are also really good, but again, not a must summon. So it really depends on if you really like these units or not, and if you want to have them in your barracks or give you value in some kind of way in Summoner Duels or some other game mode. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about this banner. I'll be eager to hear your opinion. And if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like and a comment. Helps me tremendously. And if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using super thanks or by becoming a YouTube member down below. I want to thank all of my YouTube members, and for more FEH videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as Valug for not being on a Hatari banner. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.